had some dodgy salad at the end of the day last night, and that ended up in not great results, let's just put it that way. So I was feeling a bit weak over the weekend, but was able to do some good stuff, socializing and that kind of thing. I think the thing for me to manage is making sure I don't spread myself too thin, because there are so many people who I could, hang out with from various churches and from work here, and I need to make sure to balance that. So that's some of the stuff that's on my mind. That said, tonight should hopefully be going out for dinner with a friend. Should be nice. I did some doodling on the board because I've been waiting. So you've got a little eye thing there. I kind of want to draw something that people don't want to rub out and then ruin tomorrow's class. That's the motive, but I'm sure it'll be gone by tomorrow. What else have I done today? So I've been working on sending people's assignment. We can do a little run through that. I've had to plan out how we're going to assess them. It's going to be a 10-minute presentation assessing any scientific theory that someone wants to assess in pairs, and that's the only assignment that we're going to give students this term, and they won't have any exams or anything like that. And the reason behind it is so that they can give it their best. I remember how much I hated exams, and not only that, but like endless deadlines, essays every 2 weeks or so. That just felt like, I don't know, it felt like they asked me to do so many things that I couldn't do any of them well. So our focus for this particular module is to have the students have one thing to focus on so that they can do it to their very best. And that is what we have planned here. And so it's been a classic situation where I spend all day thinking I'm going to be working on finalizing the rest of the course, but instead I end up needing to do a bunch of admin and drafting a massive email. The email that I've drafted being the one about the assignment. So this is what I've done today. If we have a look at this, assignments. So look at that. What a fun email. All of that. What is the assignment? We need to look at what the theory explains. What assumptions does the theory make? What evidence and reasoning is used to support it? How does it relate to a biblical worldview? And then who should present what? We should make sure that people share their work evenly, and only present what they have written, because it's tempting to get someone else to write the project for you. How will it be marked? Well, there's going to be a joint mark based on evenness. And then two other things like flow and coherence. Basically, does the presentation make sense as a whole? Does it flow out well? The individual mark will be presentation style. Is it clear, engaging, and easy to understand? Persuasiveness, accuracy, and understanding. This is very important because people might want to use ChatGPT, and we can't have people using ChatGPT if they don't, if that means they then don't understand what they're saying. And so we have said at the bottom here that they will get 0 marks if they quote from ChatGPT without specifying that what they're saying is actually from ChatGPT. So yes, there will be various things there. I'm sure we'll mark them on more, like if the entire thing is just a big quote from ChatGPT, then I'm sure we can add a slot in there to mark them down. And we've given them a timetable because it'll be very easy to push everything to the last minute. And so instead, by the end of week 4, they need to submit a title telling us what the theory is about. By the end of week 6, they need to give us a plan, which just gives us the main headings of their presentation and also has 1-sentence answers to the 4 questions. And then week 10 is the presentations. Now, who is my partner just says who someone's listed with, but since we don't care about a list of names, I'm just going to scroll past that. And you can see at the end, it just says, I hope this covers everything, but if there are any other questions, let me know. In the meantime, I'll answer some common questions. So how do we structure the presentation? However you want. What about references? Do them. That's great. But just remember, 0 marks 0 marks. If you quote from ChatGPT and don't tell us that's what you're doing. And which theory? Any theory you look like, or rather would like to look at. Not that you look like a theory. Any theory you'd like to look at, even wrong ones. It keeps reformatting, ruining my dramatic zooms, but it's there. Even the wrong ones, those ones. And so that could include, phlogiston theory, which was discredited hundreds of years ago, and things like that. So that is the joy of admin. I realize that teaching means that you might end up spending 3 hours drafting a message when you should be preparing the other lessons, and that is just part of the joy. I also have some workshops that I need to be doing for my funding body. We'll see what gets done. Yeah, in fact, should I leave it there? I'm not going to leave it there. I'm going to tell you other things if you care. If you don't care, that's fine. Other things that we're doing. I prepared a handout for this week's lectures, and that handout, if I go to it now, handout, week 3 handout, is looking at the nature of scientific explanations. So in terms of what lectures are on this week, we're having a refresher from last week, the nature of various arguments. Thank you, Bristol, for teaching me this stuff. We have a helpful little graphic here for where are you in the course? We're still at weeks 2 and 3 at the beginning. We're looking through the lens at the rest of the course. And then we have different kinds of reasoning. We're going through 2 models of explanation, really. The first is the deductive nomological model of explanation, which is such a long word for what it really means. It basically means, do you have a scientific law? Do you have a specific observation? Can you deduce what you're interested in from the law and the observation? So deductive, deduce, nomological, law-ish. And so that's where that comes from. Got some examples, fun and silly examples, basically ripped off from my supervisor's book, especially this one about the height of a cat's shadow as it's cast by light. That model has 2 problems. I'm not going to tell you all of these problems, but symmetry, relevance, these are problems. Great quote from G.K. Chesterton, because why not? Then looking at Bible passages touching on the limits of science. Obviously, these passages do not touch directly on science as a term, because science was only defined as a term in the 1800s, but rather they have relevance to scientific questions, such as the origins of various animal behaviors, which God talks about in Job, as well as the nature of wanting to discover things. God has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from beginning to end. The point of that being is that mankind have a desire to find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. And that's not a bad desire. God has put it there. But the world is created in such a way that even though it's not infinite, you can never run out of things to discover. And in the same way, you cannot find out what God has done from beginning to end. So it's got that longing for discovery and finding what God has done from beginning to end, and yet indefinite potential for discovery. So it's that kind of thing. The theology behind it kind of feeds into the nature of scientific explanations. How much does science explain? Will it be able to explain everything? Those kinds of questions. There you go. That's my update of the day. Have fun. See ya.